Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Kim. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 10 top tips for new Doordash drivers. But actually I'm only going to do half of the tips because nobody wants to listen to me talk for 45 minutes. So I'm going to do 5 tips. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on each of the tips and try not to talk too much, but I want to give enough detail to be helpful. So anyways, before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. And yeah, sit down, relax, and hope you enjoy this. Okay, are you a new DoorDash driver, or do you want to be a DoorDash driver, delivery person? I have some tips that will help you. I have worked over the last week or so creating this and trying to curate the very best tips I could think of. And these are the things I wish I knew when I started out. These tips will not only help you maximize your earnings, but also lessen the frustration as you try to learn the ropes. I think these tips will help shorten the learning curve a little bit. I hope they help you. And like I said, this is the first of 2 videos. The next one should be posted tomorrow. Okay. Tip number 1, know your market. I think it's very important to be familiar with the area where you are delivering. If you can dash in the area where you actually live, I think that's beneficial for many reasons. You really need to know how long it takes to get from point A to point B. This is key. Is the traffic really horrible on one particular road and you want to avoid that road? Is this neighborhood really hard to get into? Does it take a long time to get there? Is it a little skinny road and you have to drive 25 miles per hour and there's a bunch of stop signs or whatever? By being familiar with the areas, it helps you be a more efficient driver. You also want to know the restaurants, and you will learn this as you start delivering, but which ones have easy parking and easy in and out of the parking lot? You know, if your mall has the food court upstairs in the middle of the mall, and you have to walk pretty far from the parking lot, up an elevator, halfway through the mall, etc., that might not be a good place to accept offers because that's going to take you a long time. And, you know, you're going to have to be carrying food. So you don't want to have to walk too far and park far away from where the restaurant actually is. Are there neighborhoods you want to avoid? Maybe not, but I have a couple that I avoid like the plague. These apartment complexes, the buildings are not numbered logically, and even the apartment numbers themselves don't really go in order. Some places you can't park anywhere near the building. It's all for residents only. You know, the guest parking is very far from the actual apartment units. And then there's another neighborhood that's just really, really compact. I mean, there's just so many condos and there's no parking at all. And it's a low income area and a lot of people hang out outside. And I just feel uncomfortable there, so I don't go there either. Anyways, these may not be issues in your neighborhood and you may not care about these things. But if you know the market, you know the area, you'll know about these things. At night, I avoid neighborhoods that don't have street lights because the addresses are hard to see, or sometimes it's just really dark. I don't want to trip on a crack in the sidewalk or something. To me, it's just not worth the risk. Now, at night, a lot of times my husband goes with me, which is great. Because he can point the car headlights, you know, so I can see the sidewalks and stuff, or he'll hold a flashlight for me or something. When you're holding a bunch of food and your phone, it's hard to also hold a flashlight. I know a lot of people do, or some people have the little banded flashlight thing that they wear on their head. I'm not sure what that thing's called. Some people wear those. To me, it's just not worth doing at night unless my husband's with me. I just don't want to take the risk. And another reason where it's good to know your market is for navigation purposes. Yes, you can use the navigation in the app, and most of the time does a great job. But sometimes you know shortcuts that the app isn't using. Or I've noticed a lot of times that the app navigation, both Google Maps and Apple Maps, will take you kind of a long way around and sometimes avoid the freeway altogether, even when there's no traffic, which is really strange. But anyways, if you know the neighborhoods, you can avoid areas that typically have long waits for railroads, or you don't want to go in a school zone, or where you know there's speed traps, or really long signals that, if you hit it on a red light, you could be sitting there for 3 minutes. So anyways, if you know your market, this will really be beneficial for you. Next, tip number 2, really learn how to use the app. Play with the things in the app. Don't just do the bare minimum, because there's some cool things. It's pretty easy to use. The DoorDash app is my favorite compared to the Uber Eats and Grubhub. Grubhub second place. Uber Eats is, I don't know, I just don't like that app. Grubhub doesn't give you as much detail. Like, you won't, in the offer screen, you won't know how far you're going to be going unless you know their neighborhoods. If you know your market, you can look at the map and you'll know how far you're going. But if you're doing Grubhub in an unfamiliar area, you don't really know how long it's going to take you to get from one spot to another, and they don't tell you the mileage. Anyways, DoorDash does give you the mileage, so that's helpful. I find that the DoorDash app gives you the most pertinent information in order to make a educated decision on whether to take that offer or not. You'll know exactly how far you'll go, approximately. You can zoom in on the map and see exactly where you're going. You can get to the customer info and order info, etc. easily. You can go back and forth between the steps on the app to see things, which is nice. You can also change the order you do things in the app easily. So if you got a stacked order, which is 2 orders at once, you can pick them up in different order. You can drop them off in different order, depending on, which one's going to be more convenient for you, which ones you think would be faster, etc. Where Grubhub doesn't allow you to do that. Is the DoorDash app perfect? Of course not. It crashes a lot. It's very frustrating when it does. And there are some extra clicks required, like when you're declining an order, you have to give a reason why. And there's just a couple extra clicks that I think they could get rid of. But anyways, I like the app. Anyways, here is an example of the app. This is the app in action. Let's go ahead and play it here. It's a little video I made. So, open the app. This is what it looks like. This gray area shows it's not busy. This pink area, it was busy. So you click Dash Now, and then you say when you want to end. I chose 1 o'clock. Now you have to click these little buttons here, showing that you have all these things, and then you click Start Dashing. Checks you in, and there we go. Now this pink area is a hot zone, busy zone, whatever. I typically don't follow these zones, but this kind of shows you where some recent orders were. Like, it's showing McDonald's here, and it'll tell you down here. And now look, I clicked on that, and that took us to the navigation to McDonald's, but we're going to go back to the app. Here's an offer that I received. This is a double stacked. So they wanted me to go to Jersey Mike's and Subway. I'm going to go a total of 7.2 miles, and there's 3 items. And I'm going to deliver to these 2 houses. This one here is nice and close, compact up here. This one's far away. This would take several minutes to get down here. So these three are clustered. That would be just a couple minutes. This one's way down here. So anyways, I did not take this. I declined this offer just because this one's very far down here, and that would take a long time. I know it only says 7.2 miles, but it would take some time. So I click decline, which is right here. And it's saying, oh my gosh, you're the best dasher. Your acceptance rate will fall. So anyways, I said and I wanted to decline. Here's the reasons. I can choose why. I don't think it matters which of these you choose. To be honest, I think they ignore whatever you pick. So I usually just pick one. And then I hit decline, and then it takes you back to the map, and now it's looking for orders again. At any time you can push any of these buttons. It will take you. This is showing us the hotspot again. If you want to refer friends, you click here. These little lines here, the hamburger menu, that will take you back to the main menu, which has some options there. This little button, if you can't deliver for whatever reason or you need help, you click here. This will get you to support. Yeah, I didn't go through the whole app. I just kind of wanted to show you the order portion and what it looked like when you got an offer. Anyways, yeah. So this is just what the app looked like, and I just wanted to show you. So anyways, tip number 3 is acceptance rating. So as soon as you sign into the DoorDash app, you'll start getting offers. It happens really quick, unless it's dead. But if there's, and almost always within 2 or 3 minutes, you'll get an offer of some sort. You do not have to accept all these offers. In fact, you don't have to accept any of the offers. Your acceptance rating means nothing. So when I was showing you the app and it said, oh my gosh, your acceptance rate's going to fall if you don't accept this offer, they try to get you to take it. They want you to take it. They want all this food delivered. They would probably be ecstatic if everyone accepted all the offers. But you don't have to. That acceptance rating, as you saw mine, I think it was on 13 or something that day. Today, now it's only, I dashed today and I had so many bad offers. I think it's down to like 7 or 5. It doesn't mean anything. A low acceptance rating does not affect the orders you are offered. Mine is at 14% right now. This is when I did this screen, this PowerPoint thing here. Anyways, and I still get plenty of great offers. So it doesn't matter. And it can't matter. They can't hold it against you. Why? Because we are independent contractors, which means we have the right to choose. They cannot control our work day. They cannot. So we get to choose when we want to work. We get to choose where to work. We get to choose how long to work. And we get to choose which orders to accept. None of these things can be dictated by DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats. We are independent contractors. They cannot control these things. So when they try to bully you into taking those orders by saying, oh, you're the best one, you really need to take this, your acceptance rating is going to go down. It's just them trying to get you to take the order. You do not have to. And another trick they use is this whole top dasher incentive. I don't know that it's a trick, but don't be a top dasher. It's basically a title that forces you to take almost all the offers that they give you. Most of the offers are very low. Most of the deliveries will pay, I don't know, $4, $5, $6, which when you think about it, you're thinking, oh, that's not so bad. I can do a bunch of them, but you can only do so much because everything takes time. It takes time to drive to the restaurant. Then you got to park. Then you got to wait for the food. Then you got to pick up the food, take it from them, put it in your car, secure it, drive to the customer, find some place to park, walk to their house, deliver the food. This could take some time. So you need to make sure that you're not just accepting all these low offers, because you're not going to make any money. And these top dashers, they're kind of forced to take a lot of those low offers, so they're not making very much money. And they have to do that in order to keep the top dasher status. The benefits of being a top dasher do not make up for the money you will lose by taking all the low, non-tipped offers. The main benefit is that you can dash even when it's not busy. Why would you want to dash when it's not busy? So you're out there, but there's no offers. So I'm not sure that that's really a benefit. When it's busy, they let you on to dash, so you don't have to worry about it. Anyways, moving on. That was the acceptance rating. Tip number 4, your completion rating. Keep it high. The completion rating does matter. Don't accept offers and then not complete them. Obviously, unassigning deliveries may be necessary sometimes, but try to complete every offer that you accept. I do unassign, not very often. I try to if I accept an offer, I am basically saying that I am going to complete this offer. But sometimes things happen out of your control, and you do need to unassign. Usually I only unassign when it's going to be a very long wait for the food. And I do this mainly because you are expected to pick up by a certain time and deliver by a certain time. And if you are excessively late past the delivery time, it counts against you. There's a on time or early rating, and I don't want to be excessively late delivering the food, so I'd rather take a hit on my completion rating than have a late delivery. They have contract violations is what they're called, and you can get a contract violation for being extremely late. So personally, I don't want a contract violation, so I don't want to be really late. So I basically give the restaurants 10 minutes and then that's it. I'm like, okay, this is taking way too long, and I unassign. And that gives the restaurant time to complete the food, and then DoorDash can send another driver. And by the time that second driver gets there, the food should be ready and they can take it to the customer. A lot of times you'll arrive at the restaurant and they haven't even started your order. This is really bad, especially if it's a full service restaurant that, it's going to take 15 or 20 minutes to make the food. So in that case, I will unassign. Once in a while, you'll have an issue where a restaurant is out of something. So recently, I went to a delivery and the customer ordered a bunch of food and also I don't remember. I think it was a vanilla shake or chocolate. I think it was chocolate, and all they had was vanilla. So they are like, oh yeah, that customer, can you contact them and, see if it's okay if we give them vanilla? I'm like, why didn't you contact them? Oh, we don't have their phone number, la, 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 la. I'm like, okay, fine. So I text the customer, not responding. And I said, well, why don't we just refund the shake and I'll take the food. Well, we haven't done the food yet. I'm like, what? We were waiting to see about the shake. I'm like, oh my goodness. So they not only did not contact the customer, but they haven't even started the food. And this customer did not respond to my texts or calls, so we still didn't know at this point what they wanted. So I left a voicemail and basically told them to please call the restaurant and tell them what they wanted, and then I unassigned. So another dasher, unfortunately, was going to have to come deal with this. Hopefully the customer did call and tell them what they wanted. But I just knew this was a recipe for disaster. No matter what I would have chosen at that point, they were asking me, well, do you want us to give you this or that or refund it? And the customer's not going to be happy because they wanted a chocolate shake, and maybe they would have been fine with vanilla, but maybe they would have wanted a refund. And I didn't feel right making that decision for them. So anyways, that was what I did. But basically, you need to keep your completion rating high so that you can unassign here or there without worrying about your rating getting too low. Try to stay in the 90s. That just means 1 out of 10 you can unassign, but don't unassign. If you don't need to, don't. If you've taken an offer, just keep it. Like I said, unless there's a real compelling reason not to. The next tip, don't chase the hotspots in the app. Remember I showed you the little pink area on the map? When you are dashing, there's going to be, I think there's 5 at a time, 5 hotspots on the map. If you zoom out and you'll see them, this just means there's orders in that area. Like it said McDonald's on my app, so that means that McDonald's was getting some orders. But I think it's smarter to create your own hotspot. Try to stay located near spots where there are lots of restaurants around, not just McDonald's. You want to have a pool of restaurants. So after you dash a few times, you'll figure out which restaurants get a lot of orders. Try to stay near those restaurants, especially if you have like a strip mall or an area of town where there's a lot of restaurants. Stay there, because then you have a greater odds of getting an offer. If you just go to that little red spot where McDonald's is, yeah, you might get some McDonald's offers, but you're not going to get anything from anywhere else. So I also see that a lot of people congregate at those hotspots. It's funny, you'll notice as you go into the parking lots, you'll see all these people sitting in their cars playing on their phones and stuff, and they're all waiting for orders. Whether they're from Postmates or Grubhub, Doordash, whatever. There's a lot of people hanging around at those hotspots. So I don't do that. I make my own hotspots. I have certain areas where I know that there's a lot of restaurants around and I can get offers from multiple spots. I just think it's smarter. So anyways, find your spot that's in close proximity to many restaurants and just increase your odds of getting a good offer. Now this is something I have not been able to figure out which works better. So you can park at a strip mall and just wait, play on your phone, whatever, watch YouTube videos, or drive around from area to area. To be totally honest, I'm not sure it makes a difference because I've tried both and they don't seem to, I don't get way more offers in one scenario or the other. I do find, though, that sometimes when I'm leaving an area is when I get the offer. So we have a pretty good-sized mall, and in that mall there's Cheesecake Factory, Lazy Dog, Chipotle. There's about 5 or 6, pretty decent restaurants in that mall. And if I sit there, I won't get anything. But I think that's because there's a lot of other people just sitting there. But as I'm driving away from the mall, just like exiting the parking lot, I'll almost always get one for Cheesecake Factory or Lazy Dog or whatever. Which is, I don't know, I just think it's funny. And it's almost like you get it when it's too hard to just turn around and go back. It's almost like you have to go like completely out, drive around the block, whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. So anyways, try different things. See what works for you. And what works for me may not work for you. But I just think you need to be aware of all these different things and have them in the back of your mind. And while you're out there dashing, just try some different strategies. Anyways, that's it for tips number 1 through 5. Tomorrow I will be filming tips 6 through 10. So if you found these helpful, check back tomorrow for the second set of tips. If you're watching this after they both have been posted, click the link above to go to the second tips video. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for sharing this video and other videos of mine, and commenting on the videos. I love the comments. I've learned so much from reading the comments, and I think other viewers have too. So let's share information. It's great, and that's how we're all going to be better dashers. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoyed these tips and look forward to the next batch.